Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Wells. This is a bonus episode. I told you I was going to do a couple weeks ago because the episode that aired that I had done, trying to think of which episode it was. Okay, I forgot which episode it was. It was the third one. Um it aired the same day that John Ratzenberger appeared in Magnum PI. So I did a bonus episode of the rewatch of that episode. And also, it was the first episode I've seen of Magnum PI, which I'll mention later. So it's season five, episode four, The Legacy of Garwood Huddle. It first aired October 18th, 1984. It was directed by Vincent McEvedy. He passed away in 2018, undisclosed cause. It was written by Richard Yalom. The main cast, Tom Selleck as Tom Magnum, John Hillerman is Jonathan Quayle Higgins. He passed away in 2017 after a heart attack. Roger E. Mosley as Theodore T.C. Clavin, and he passed away in 2022, injuries from a car accident. And I also love the fact that his last name is Clavin, and John Ratzenberger, of course, played Cliff Clavin. Larry Manetti as Orville Wright. The guest cast, Pat Hingle as Garwood Huddle. He passed away in 2009 from complications of myelodysplasia. I think that's how you say it. John Ratzenberger as Walt Brewster. Belinda Montgomery as Franny Huddle. Philip Sterling as Harry Claiborne. He passed away in 1998 from complications from bone disease. Michael Anderson Jr. as Garwood Huddle Jr. Nancy DeCarl as newscaster, Elisha Cook as Francis Icepick Hostetler. He passed away in 1995, undisclosed cause. William Bryant as Arnold Slick Sims. He passed away in 2001 from cancer. Dick Durock as Norm, and he passed away also in 2009 from pancreatic cancer. Loretta Fury as Myrna. Wisa I'm not sure it's Wisa or Wisa. It's Wisa. The Orso as Mavis, and she passed away in 2018, undisclosed cause. Harold J.K. Isaac as the detective, and Douglas Wu as Anchorman. And I usually don't list the uncredited people, but I'm going to list one of the uncredited cast members. And that was Phil Hartman, who played the voice of the newsreader. And you all probably know he passed away in 1998. Homicide. He was shot by his wife. It was one of the more hardest ones, so I couldn't leave him out. I was a big fan of his. So, summary, cold open. We get a quick synopsis of what is coming up this episode. I've never seen a show do that, where they tell you ahead of time like what's gonna happen. Usually, you get the "this is what already happened. Let me recap you." So I thought this was different. Do others have other shows done that? I've never seen that. I like it. The theme song plays and we see the credits with the main cast. We hear Phil Hartman's voice reading the news. We see Garwood from July 1944 robbing a bank. This was his first, and he's been in and out of prison. He's back in, or supposed to be, but he escaped. Magnum is in a hurry to get to a baseball playoff game that he's playing in. As he opens the door, Garwood is standing there. Magnum learns that Higgins knows Garwood from back in Mexico, 1944. He helped Garwood successfully rob a bank when he was with the M116. For those who aren't familiar, I actually had to look it up. The M116 is the British equivalent to our CIA in the United States. The Third Reich had some paperwork in the bank, and Garwood helped rob the bank to get the documents. He then returned the money. Higgins clarifies he did not help Garwood bust out of jail. Magnum asks why they need his help, and Higgins plays the pre recorded tape of the news again. We learn Garwood III, Garwood's grandson, was kidnapped. We see the boy's mother and her fiance, Walt Brewster. Magnum and Garwood are driving in Magnum's Ferrari. We hear a voiceover of Magnum telling us about Garwood, who he believes is a modern day Robin Hood. He says the kidnapper would give the boy back once he has the money that was buried. They arrive at a massage parlor. Magnum asks how they will get the money out without breaking and entering. Garwood tells him, just ask for Mavis. Mavis, Mavis leads Magnum to the back. Magnum opens the window and Garwood comes in. Mavis tells him, this will be extra, guys. Um, the parlor has more than massages going on. There's sexual stuff happening. Um, Magnum tells her he only wants a massage, so when the other person comes in, she's obviously thinking menage a trois. Garwood says they're not going to hurt her as they tie her to a chair and gag her. They pull apart the floor with a crowbar and start digging. Magnum questions if it's the correct spot. Garwood said, you don't forget 20,000 big ones, buddy. Garwood explains that he used some of the money to help some local farmers. Magnum tells him that bank robbing is illegal and asks, aren't you a little old to be playing Robin Hood? Garwood explains that he's playing Robin Hood, yeah, Robin Hood all his life. It started when a man from the bank in Texas told his father not to worry about the late payments because the bank understands. The following week, the bank owner took his father's property. I need to slow down. I'm getting tongue tied. They hit the tin box the money is supposed to be in. However, when they open it, the money is missing. Magnum asks Garwood who he told about the money. Garwood denies telling anyone. Magnum suggests that Garwood's partners may not know where the money was hidden, but they knew it existed, so they're suspects. Garwood insists that his partners are not criminals. Magnum decides to investigate without Garwood. He now has only 27 hours left. He starts by going to Garwood the Third's house. Walt lets Magnum in, and Magnum tells him that Garwood sent him. Walt gets Franny, and the three of them discuss the kidnapping case. Franny tells Magnum to get Garwood to give himself up. Garwood appears at the back door saying, a huddle never gives up. Franny is upset. Then Walt sees the cop and says, I told you they'd be back. Walt tells Magnum and Garwood to go out to the back. They get in Magnum's Ferrari. Garwood and Magnum argue as Magnum drives away. Garwood's kind of upset, partially that they're in a Ferrari because he says it's kind of inconspicuous. Or is it conspicuous? One of those. Garwood is determined to help Magnum on the case, but Magnum thinks that Garwood's in the way. Garwood asks what Magnum is doing. Magnum says he's going to take Garwood back to Higgins and then go to Garwood's lawyer, Harry. Garwood says that Magnum can't do it all alone. Magnum says he's got it covered. A man goes into the deli and orders. He asks for dill and a toothpick, then says no, ice pick. Ice pick is in the business of giving people new identities. The man asks him about Arnold Slims and Morty Anderson. Ice pick says he remembers Slim, who was very impatient. Magnum goes to Harry's office. The voiceover of Magnum lists the criminal acts he's committed in the last 12 hours, explaining that it was for a damn good cause. Harry returns to his office and knows Magnum. He explains that Garwood called, so he knew Magnum was coming. Magnum asks him about Slick and Anderson. Harry denies knowing anything. Magnum tells him that since he won't tell him where they are, he has to presume that Harry's involved. Magnum says there is enough evidence to get Harry debarred and perhaps some jail time. He gives Magnum Morty's last known address and says he does not know where Slick is. Magnum goes to the address Harry gave him and looks around. It's a cemetery. Morty had died. A car drives by and Magnum is shot at. Magnum returns to Harry's office. Harry tells him the insurance files accidentally got burned. Magnum tells him, I'm talking about attempted murder, Harry. Harry denies shooting him and says that Magnum was fouled. Magnum tells Harry that with Morty dead, he needs to find Slick. He explains he's angry and does not have a lot of time. Magnum says that Slick now goes by the name of William Daniels. The name actually made me laugh that they use William Daniels since I'm a big fan of the actor William Daniels from Boy Meets World. No connection, but the fact that it was that name always kind of laugh. Harry continues to deny as Magnum pulls some papers out of his pocket. He tells Harry, "You really ought to get your copy machine checked out. I think it's low on toner." Magnum is back with Higgins and Greenwood. Oh, sorry, Garwood. Typo. Garwood says that Harry is good people. Magnum says Harry shot at him, but Garwood claims that Harry does not like guns. Higgins asks if Magnum cooked Brussels sprouts. Magnum says no, and Garwood says that Magnum tried some cologne from the Pat Plan starter kit. Magnum explains he gave some of the items away. They watch the news report. Franny and Walt are on it, pleading for the return of Garwood III. Walt says the little boy always had his patty bear. Franny says he didn't have it when he was kidnapped. TC comes downstairs. He says, "Very funny." Garwood says, "That's the guy I gave patty wax to." Magnum tells TC they are trying to watch the news. TC says the wax took off the paint on his van. He then hears about the kidnapping, and TC says he didn't know about it before. Garwood is surprised that TC didn't see him on TV. The phone rings and Magnum answers. It is Rick, and Magnum now has Slick's address. Magnum and TC take off to find Slick. TC says that it smells like Brussels sprouts. Magnum explains he put on some of the Pat Plan cologne. A security guard asks if he can help them. Magnum says they're looking for William Daniels. The guard says Daniels doesn't live there. Magnum says, thanks for your help, Slick." Daniel responds, "No problem." Slick then freezes and Magnum smiles. Slick runs and Magnum and TC chase him. Magnum explains they just want to talk to Slick. Slick pulls out a gun. Magnum asks him if he took a shot at him earlier. Slick denies it, but says he is running because he's wanted for busting parole. Someone from the window fires a shot at Slick and he falls into the pool. TC jumps into the pool and saves Slick, and he's taken to the hospital. Slick's taken to the hospital. Magnum says he had his third strikeout. He compares himself to Babe Ruth, who struck out 1,330 times, but people only remember his 714 homers. He explains that Garwood is with him again to identify the dead person who may have taken the money. He says Garwood's son, who was a construction worker, took the money. If you remember, he's supposed to be dead. They go to the deli to see Ice Pick. Ice Pick says he can't give info out. Garwood explains he thought for years his son was dead. He shows pictures of Garwood III, the little boy who was kidnapped. Ice Pick becomes quiet. Magnum explains they need to find Garwood Jr. to find Garwood III. They arrive at Garwood's apartment. Jr. is shocked to see his father. Garwood asks about the money. Jr. tells Garwood that the money is gone. He explains he used to follow his dad around just to be with him, but he resented his dad. They start arguing, and Magnum tells him to stop fighting. He says that fighting will not bring Garwood III back. Jr. has no idea his son was kidnapped because he sold his TV a week ago. Garwood tells Magnum they can leave since the money is gone, but Jr. stops him and gives him a baseball glove. It's the glove Garwood gave him when Jr. was 8 years old. He wants Garwood III to have it when he's found. Garwood asks Magnum what they are going to do. Magnum tells him he has a plan, but then we get another voiceover where Magnum explains he really doesn't have a plan, but he has a hunch. He thinks Garwood III feels about his patty bear the way Magnum felt about his stuffed yellow duck he once had, and also the way Junior felt about that glove he had. They arrive at Franny and Walt's home. He asks Franny about the bear. Franny wants him to leave. Magnum explains little Garwood would go crazy without his bear. He says someone must have brought it to him. Maybe Walt. Magnum asks where Walt is, and Franny tells him he's playing cards with his friend Norm. Another nice Cheers connection there. that Walt, played by John Ratzenberger's best friend, is Norm. Garwood and Matlock. Oh, yeah, but I just said that. Garwood and Magnum go to Norm's. Sure enough, Walt is with Norm, and so is little Garwood. Garwood and Magnum go up to the house. Norm tells Walt they can sell little Garwood if they don't get the money. Walt says they're not selling him, and Garwood Sr. will get the money. Garwood and Magnum go in. Walt grabs a bat, and he and Norm run. Ma- Magnum tells Garwood to stay with his grandson, then chases Walt and Norm. So Magnum is beating the crap out of Norm. Walt tries to run, but Garwood stops him with a gun. Not sure who's watching little Garwood at this point. Walt says Garwood won't shoot him because Garwood does not like guns. But Garwood shoots Walt in the hand and explains he was aiming for his chest. Garwood, Magnum Jr., Franny, and Higgins are outside eating with Garwood the Third. Jr. is back with Franny. And that's the episode. I stumbling a little more than usual today. I've been very tired. I have an ear infection. I'm on antibiotics now. But it's been making me sleepy, and I think I'm just made some careless mistakes there. I apologize. Anyway, the discussion. I gave this episode 4.5 out of 5 beer nuts. I have never seen an episode of Magnum PI, and now I want to see more. It seems to be a dramedy, which is a drama comedy combined. I love Tom Selleck's Magnum voiceovers, especially. Those ones make me laugh. The entire cast was actually great in this episode. The only thing I didn't like was the ending, and that's why it's not 5 stars. It felt kind of rushed. All of a sudden, Garwood, who Junior there, who faked his death, and now he's suddenly back with his whole family, and not a big deal. And um, yeah, it just the whole thing, it just felt rushed. Like we have to just make everything happy all of a sudden. I gave the MVP to Pat Hingle, who played Garwood Senior. He does a really great job. He's a good act. He was a good actor. The best dressed I gave to Magnum. He has some good Hawaiian stuff going on. I like his clothes. Grand Slam line when they're talking, trying to figure out who would know about the money. Garwood says, "My partners and Harry are not crooks." Magnum says, "They're bank robbers." Garwood says, "That's different." The on baseline. It's after Magnum is shot. He had accused Harry of shooting him. When he leaves, or was it when he comes back? One of them. He slams the door, and the glass at the Harry's office breaks, and his door. And Harry says, "And you wonder why people shoot you." Here's a little known fact: Hingle, who played Garwood, would guest star on Cheers many years later as Gus O'Malley, former owner of Cheers. So if you like this episode, please like, comment, follow, etc. You can join the Facebook group Cheers, that's One Woman's Opinion. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter X at One Woman Opinion. You can join the Reddit subgroup Cheers Rewatch Podcast. And you can always email us with questions, comments, etc. at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast at gmail.com. And hold on. Okay. Little technical glitch there. All of a sudden my Zoom disappeared. Sorry about that. Okay, so reminder, I am taking off next week. It's Holy Week, so I will not be doing a podcast next Thursday. We will resume on April 9th when I do Cheers Season 3, Episode 5, Sammy Turns Another Cheek. And that's One Woman's Opinion.